All right, so in the background you can see a really large drill and holder. So basically what I'm going to do is for the holes for the gooseneck mount and the mid plate, I'm calling it the mid plate, I'm going to pre-drill a large hole. This happens to be a 3/4 drill, so I'm going to drill that, and then I'll use a 1/2 inch end mill and basically pocket mill that all the way open. So I'm gonna get the camera set up so you can watch it go. Again, we're gonna have the same issue with coolant getting all over the window, so I'll try to keep it as clean as I can. Hopefully you'll kind of understand that. So let me get that set up, and then we'll machine the gooseneck plate first, then we'll do the mid plate, and if we have time today, we'll go ahead and run the actual face plate that holds all our lights and tag and everything else. So let me get that set up. All right, I've got just a little bit of ring. That's probably to the due to the length of that being 8 inches, and probably to the outside there. Luckily, I'm not machining anything other than this hole. So, but for the most part, it sounds really good. So. So I'm gonna do the finished pass here, and then the next thing, it should come out and chamfer this. Let's test the actual flip over ball. I may have to open this hole up. All right, perfect. So that fits. So now see if I can't show you the chamfered edge on that. So I did that because it always makes it look nice, and it's fairly easy to do. So. All right, I'll pull this plate. Obviously, we'll add the underside, like the tube and the gussets for the flip over hitch, but for now, that's all for this plate. Let me get the other plate loaded. All right, so now I have the mid plate in the vise. Now what I did is I had to flip the jaws to the outside to pinch it, so that I would have a way to hold such a big plate. So now that I got set up, it's already probed. We'll go ahead and run the drill, mill, and then chamfer cycle. So we'll get that going now, and then we'll, if I have enough time, like I said, we'll try to go ahead and run the other plate. Alright, so these are just the pilot holes. Give the end mill somewhere to go and kind of give me a chance to kind of clean the window off so y'all can see. I don't know how these guys do it, where they seems like they never have to clean their windows off. So if you're a machinist out there and you do content other than dry, running it dry, and I guess I could run this 1/2 inch end mill dry and just do air. Crazy enough, it will run quite well like that, but I have to run it really fast, and I'm just trying to make it so that y'all can see. So let's see what it looks like. Okay. All right. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slow my feed to 50% just till it gets started, so that you can kind of watch it. Let's see also. See how far. All right, so Okay, so now that I've got the the gooseneck plate machined, and what I'm calling the mid plate, the diagonal plate that I'll put the bars for the safety chains. Now I've got to set up the machine, and I'll have to pull these vices out and get all these metal chips out of the way, because the main plate to this hitch plate won't fit in the vise. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to manually bolt it into the table and fixture it down like that, so I have an air gap above the table, so I don't machine down into the table. So I'm gonna get that done now, and I'll show you how I have it set it once I get there. Well, as you can see, I've got holes in the plate. Unfortunately, because I do all my recording and editing myself, I did not notice the battery went dead. So my apologies. All right, so basically, rundown of what I did. The very first time I ran the program, I did 2 test drills, and I only went like, I think I went 50 thousandths deep. And I basically I test drilled this hole right here and this hole right here, and so I could visually see how my drill centered on the etched hole, and it did almost perfect. So actually it was so close that I couldn't tell the difference, and so I ran with it. So looking at all the holes in the etched section, it's like dead on the money, right in the middle of the hole. So in the etch hole, so the hole is drilled perfectly. So now I can, a couple things. I can helical bore and get my small light holes done. I'm gonna do that first, I think. That way I can test fit my small lights, and then I'll probably go to the large lights, and then to the connector for the electrical. So actually, let me grab that real quick and let's see. Okay, so this is basically what I ordered for the connector here. I did several like options, but honestly I don't know that I needed it. So and also too, if I can help it, I'm going to drill and tap the plate so that I don't have to have a nut and bolt or a nut on the back side, and I'm not going to have to weld one on the back side. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get that helixed. Let me try to clean up the glass again. Okay, as you can see, I got a little ahead of myself, and I really should have planned ahead. When I originally pulled this in and took the gas tank off and the air tank, I left like 4 or 5 feet between here and the door here. Well, it just so happens that when I got a little overzealous, and I went ahead and fit this and tacked it in to hold it in place to see how it would look. It was raining outside, so and it's still quite wet, so I didn't want to put the camera out in the rain, and I just, I don't need to ruin the camera too, so that's why we're kind of on a weird angle here. But as you can see, I have this tacked in, put in place. Now, I did do a lot of research on this, and my understanding is you are not to weld to this flange here. So on several of the international 4070B groups on Facebook, they told me to bolt it in. So I got some high strength 3/4 countersunk head bolts, but what that means is I've got to pull this plate. Now granted, it's only tacked in 3 places just to kind of have me just so I could kind of see how it all fit, and it fits really good. I'm really excited about this. Even put the gooseneck on the inside, or the cage on the inside with the hole. So I'm excited about having that all done, but I'm gonna have to break these tacks. Another thing that I've got to do, and I should have done it to begin with, but I knew I was gonna have to come off with it again, is I gotta bevel the heck out of these 2 plates right here, this seam, because there's just not enough gap to put a weld in it. I don't know if you can see this, but there is the full thickness of the plate. There's a gap right here, so I'll be able to get 100% of penetration. It'll take me several passes to do that, and then I'll end up putting a pass on the inside as well. So I'm gonna basically do the same thing here so that I could just have 100% penetration, weld it in. Before I weld it in, I'm gonna drill the holes and bolt it, and that's what these are for. But also, in my excitement and ordering these bolts, I forgot to order the nuts that go with them, which are high strength. These aren't just like regular grade 8 bolts. These are high strength bolts specifically so I could do this. It is kind of weird that I can drill into this. I can drill in a hole. Of course, I don't see another hole. Well, there are a couple holes in it, in the flange, so maybe it'll be all right. I'm gonna bolt it in, plus weld it to this, so I should be fine. But I'm ready to get this part of the project done, so I can call that done and move on to the next, because this thing this thing looks really good. One other thing that you can't see, and it would be hard for me, I may just pull the camera under there and show you, but along the there are bolts or holes in the on these flanges here, because there's gussets on the bottom with that were bolted in. So it just dawned on me there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 2 big gussets that bolt to the original holes on the frame, and then weld to the back side over here, so that so I have a gusset. It's also welded here, and it'll be welded here, but it'll also be bolted there. So I should like never have any problem with this. There is another part of this that I want to do. when I get to that point, but I absolutely love the fenders that are real close and molded to the tire type setup. The downside is if you have a blowout, those fenders are probably garbage after that. But I love that look, so I want to kind of give it that look. I don't want the old school half fender. I want each axle to have its own setup, because I'm thinking about the crossbars on each one of them, or at least on the front and then the rear, putting some of those watermelon lights in the back for brake lights. I like the look of that, but we'll see how it goes. Because off this hitch plate, I plan on building a bracket that comes off of this, that bolts, that I can unbolt that arm if needed. So, but yeah, let me get this separated and taken off. I've got to take this off again, chamfer the edge, drill and set the countersink, but I'm gonna do that in the mill. So, and I guess while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and completely weld in the pocket for the flip over gooseneck. That way I can have that done, and once it goes on, it'll be on. So, and my order of operations on this is going to be go ahead and mill the holes. I'll tack it in to this plate, and my thought was drill the very first hole in the frame. Maybe I don't know, I may just drill all 4 or all 8 of them and just go ahead and do it. But I was thinking, yeah, I think that'd be fine. I'll just go ahead and do all of them at one time. So let me get that separated, and then we'll move this to the mill, and I'll show you basically how I did that. I guess I probably should have gone ahead and tacked this down, but it doesn't matter. I'll go ahead and machine this. We'll throw this back up here. I'm gonna grind this one. I'll do this one in the mill, but I'll grind this chamfer on this one. So we'll get that set up. Okay, what I've done is I put a huge chamfer on this so that when I go to weld this, I can get full penetration. I only left about 1/8 of an inch on the bottom at the edge, because technically, even if you know, when I have the other plate on there, it's going to have another chamfer, and I am going to weld it on both sides. So that's done. That sucked, by the way. That's a heck of a lot of grinding. So I should probably be wearing a respirator with this, but you know, I mean, that's I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, this is all the grinder dust. So now this plate is ready to get the other plate. So I'll grab that and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, so again, let's see if it'll focus here. That's the bolt. And so now that's flush. So that's gonna look really good. A little burr down there. So that's gonna look really good for bolting that in, and then I'm gonna chamfer this edge right here to give me a good head start as far as you know, a place to weld to the other plate. So super happy with that. Man, that looks good. Nice and smooth, man. Yeah, so one of the mistakes that I did was, and I'm sorry, I have to kneel down a little bit because I'm 6'3" and it's hard to get everything in the picture at once. So one of the mistakes I made, I thought I had ordered an 82 degree bolt, but I didn't. It was actually 100 degrees, so works out better. I got a lot more surface area, and this is what this is really about, the surface area that you're clamping on. So instead of having a washer, which washer is designed to spread the load, give you more load distribution. Well, with this, my surface area that's actually being pulled down has significantly increased. So that's going to make that really strong. I put 4 on each side, plus it's going to be welded to the other plate. So yeah, I should not have any problem with this. So I'm glad to get this part done. I'm going to chamfer this edge, and then I can weld my pocket back on, and then throw it on there, and I believe I can weld, I think I can weld everything together now. So I may video that just so y'all can see what I'm doing. My end goal is at the seams. I plan on doing a root pass, and then on my fillers, and then my cap, and then I plan on sanding that down so it looks like a bent piece of material. And realistically, I could have bent all of this plate into shape. The downside of that would have been is I wouldn't have been able to put it in the mill and do stuff like that. I would have had to, well, it just wouldn't have been as nice. I couldn't have done a lot of the machine work that I do. And I kind of understand now why a lot of the other shops that do make these, there's one out there, I can't remember the company that does it, but they are actually who I got a lot of my inspiration from, and it's on Facebook, and they call them their signature hitch plates. Can't remember them. I'll try to put it in the comments or in the description of where what that company name was. But that's kind of where I got my inspiration on how I wanted to build this. I saw a lot of the ones that they did, and I really liked them. It's just, for me, it wasn't worth $3,500 for what they charged for them. I mean, if it was like 500 or 600, Of course, they don't do any of the machine work. They don't do anything like I did. So if they did all the machine work, I would probably be fine paying $1,500 to $2,000 for that if they had the machine work. But they just weld stuff on the outside to like keep the lip on the underside that holds the lights. They just weld a ring on back there. You know, something like that. I would have been fine paying like $800 with that, maybe $1,000, but I just wasn't at the $3,500 that they sell it for, which is, you know, not a bad price. I wasn't there. And then I think they charge you $1,000 to assemble it for you. So, but I think with the steel and the lights and all the little things that I bought, I might be $800, something like that. So, yeah. So I mean, I'm fine with that. So, and again, theirs are really nice. They have nice hitch plates, but I can make my own. So, let me get this edge chamfered, and then we'll take it back over to the truck and see about getting it back. Getting it tacked back in and kind of go from there. All right, so now that I got everything machined, I'm gonna start welding some of this together. I may not get it all welded together today, but I'm gonna sure try, because I'm ready to get this part of it done. So I'm gonna start with, I need to tack this plate in along the side, and then I'll tack weld this plate in and go from there. I may grab a couple clamps. I think in one of my other takes, I forgot to order the nuts with these bolts, so I can't bolt this in. So I may have to kind of be selective of what and how I weld some of this stuff together. My main thing is this right here. Once I get this kind of held down, I'm hoping that'll keep that from just flaying up. So I'm gonna have to be real careful about how I work my heat and whatnot. So let me get this tacked in, and I'm gonna just start buzzing some of this stuff in. Like, I need to weld this all the way in on both sides. I need to weld these on the chain bars. I need to go ahead and weld that stuff in. There's a lot I got to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that and see how far I can get. That's the majority of this welded. I just did my root pass there. I was trying to keep the heat from picking it up, and I did weld on the sides. I went ahead and got that done. I am going to do on the inside of the frame. So if anybody ever tries to cut this off, they're going to hate me. If I try to cut this off, I'm going to hate me. So I did start kind of filling in that. It did pick up slightly. I got about 1/16 of an inch where the heat kind of pulled it up, but it's at least on there well enough so that I can get the mag drill and drill the holes and then bolt it in once the the nuts get here. So so yeah, that's all I'm gonna do today. Actually, that's all I have time for today. But now that I got the majority of this done, I did get this hitch welded on inside and out, so I'm happy about that. The gooseneck hitch is welded all the way around on the inside, and I'll have to get under it when I do the inside of the frame. I'll weld the chain bars all the way around. Right now I just kind of welded it on the opening there, so I'll run a weld all the way around that on top and bottom, on the top side and the bottom side. But it's fully welded along this edge and this edge, and then I'll weld it on the inside. With that being said, I do have 2 large gussets that are going to go in there and bolt to the frame, just to kind of help fight. Of course, I don't think this will ever be a case, but just to help fight this from peeling back for whatever. Who knows? I may be doing something stupid. So, but I'm ready to put lights in it. I want to see what it looks like with all the lights in it, the electrical plug, tag. One thing I did miss, and I don't even know if I have to have one, but I'm putting one on there, is like tag lights. So I may put 2 tag lights like right in the center here to shine over the tag, but we'll see. Those are welded in. I mean, it's pretty solid, so that's and it's a heavy plate. I think this is 3/4 plate. So this is going to be a lot of welding. So I'm going to do that probably in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe passes. So I'm going to start on the bottom, work up, and do that, and then I'm going to sand it down smooth and make it look like it's a bent piece of metal. And again, so there was a slight gap on between these 2 plates. So I may, on the back side, I may just run a kind of a cap weld on the bottom, on the back side, just to make it look nice. But I don't know. I might do it, I might not. So basically what I'm saying is I have full penetration. So so yeah, that's all I have time for today. I will tomorrow when I come in, I'll probably finish welding this out, and I'll send you, or I'll get a picture and a video of what it looks like as after it's like fully ready to go. What I may do too is I may run by Lowe's or Tractor Supply just to get some nuts for those bolts. They're not high strength, but they'll at least help hold it down. Oh, I did want to mention too, the bolts that I selected and the nuts are flanged, serrated nuts that have a compression at the end, and I can't reuse them. So once I bolt this up, and if I take those nuts off, I cannot reuse those. So I'm thinking that's going to be plenty for this. And each bolt is rated for like 130, 150,000 PSI tensile strength. So I got 4 of them on each side. And the guy from the 4070B Facebook group that suggested that, thank you. That was a great idea. I really appreciate that. So, all right, I'm back today. I want to go ahead and finish welding this hitch plate on, and if I can get underneath and kind of weld some of this stuff to the frame. So there's a lot of welding here. It's been kind of raining off and on today, so I've got the camera at a different angle here just so it doesn't get wet. I'm gonna start welding this out. I'm gonna try to get this done, and I've got several passes on these I'd like to do to you know, basically, you know, give me more than just one pass on that. And then I'm still waiting on the nuts to come in for this, but you know, one bite at a time, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and get set up and start welding this out. So. Okay, so I'm finally done. I went ahead and painted it, welded and sanded that top seam, got it all bolted in, got everything welded on the back side. So this completes this project, and I'm so glad to have it done, because just between waiting for parts and then having time to do this, that's one of the reasons it took me so long to get this video out. I'm gonna do a close-up video for you and show you basically everything. I literally just painted it, so it's actually still wet. I've got a little run right there, but to be honest with you, I don't even care. That is, I say that's a run. Okay, maybe not, but if it was, I'm not too concerned about it, because you know, I'm not building a show car. But again, I'm super happy with the way it turned out. Thank y'all for sticking with me and watching me build this. I really enjoyed this, but it's one of those projects that you love doing, but you're super happy when it's finished. So I'll do a couple quick shots of it and let y'all see what it looks like and how it functions.